Okay, hola muchachos. Today we are going to learn the second part of the subjunctive. In your packets you have a guided note sheet, so again please follow along with this video and anything in yellow you're going to be writing down on your sheet. Okay, so in the last subjunctive video what we talked about was the basic understanding of what the subjunctive is and also how to form it with regular verbs, irregular yo verbs, and our 6 fully irregular verbs, which we nickname as our dishes verbs. Today we're going to talk a little bit more about the usage of this amazing mood. Okay, so letter A, remember all subjunctive sentences must be in this order. S1, V1, K, S2, V2. Subject 1, such as mamá. Verb 1, such as sugiere, K. Subject 2, yo, for example, and verb 2, it could be anything. Haga, for example, la tarea. So that's our order. It's a little different from English. We always have to remain in that order when speaking and writing in Spanish with the subjunctive. So a little bullet point about this. Subject 1 must be different from subject 2. So you can't have mamá and mamá. You can't have yo and yo. You have to have two different people. There must be a K present between the two clauses. Okay, so always make sure that K is there. Verb 1 is going to remain in the present indicative. So we didn't talk much about the indicative in the last video, but in a nutshell, the indicative mood represents everything that's factual and true and real versus the subjunctive mood, which is more about things that are doubtful or unpredictable or hypothetical. Okay, so regular old present tense is what I'm talking about for verb 1. Verb 2 is the one that's going to be in the subjunctive mood, and that's as we learned in the last video where we're going to go to the yo form, drop the O, and then switch to the opposite vowel. What do I mean by opposite vowel? AR verbs now end in E's, ER-IR verbs now end in A's. Okay, let's move on to letter B. If verb 1 is any of the following verbs listed below, it is going to be expressing wants, suggestions, and or requests. And these verbs trigger the use of the subjunctive in verb number 2. So let's go ahead and fill in what these verbs mean. Decir, to say or to tell. Insistir en. Please note, you're always going to put insistir en and then the word que. To insist. Necesitar, to need. Permitir, to allow. Preferir, to prefer. Prohibir, to prohibit. Querer, to want. Recomendar, to recommend. And sugerir, to suggest. Note, we do have some stem changing verbs here. Preferir goes ir ahí, querer, ir ahí, recomendar, ir ahí, and sugerir, ir ahí as well. So, little asterisk there. Remember, all of these verbs are always going to remain in the indicative, which is the old school regular present tense. Okay, so let's put these into some examples. My mom wants me to get good grades. Remember, subject 1, verb 1, que, subject 2, verb 2. Subject 1, mi madre. Verb 1, quiere in the regular present tense. Que, subject 2, yo. Verb 2, saque. That is the verb that's in the subjunctive because it would have been saco, drop the O, opposite vowel, saque. And then the rest of the sentence, buenas notas. This is a subjunctive sentence. All of the components are there. The trigger verb, the formula, the que, the two different subjects. It's a perfect combination. However, let's look at this next sentence. I want to get good grades. Right off the bat, you should be saying, I only see one subject. How am I going to write this then? I want, quiero, to get, sacar, good grades, buenas notas. This does not follow the S1, V1, K, S2, V2 formula because it's not a subjunctive sentence. There's only one subject present, and that's yo. Remember, if you're going to use the subjunctive, you have to have two different people in the sentence. Also, this sentence doesn't require the word K. That's why we left sacar in the infinitive form, because we've always learned you can't have two conjugated verbs that touch each other. And quiero is already conjugated, so sacar must remain in the infinitive form. Okay, let's look at the next sentence. My mom thinks that I get good grades, but I don't. Okay, well, let's look at this. Do we have two different subjects? Yes, we have my mom, and then we have I. Perfect. Do we have the word K in the equivalent in English? That? Yes. So it looks like we have two of the three requirements. However, let's look at our trigger verb. Thinks. Okay, let's scroll back up. Do you see the word to think in this section here where it tells us which verbs trigger subjunctive? Nope, it's not there. So, let's look how we translate this. Mi madre piensa que yo saco. This is in regular present tense. Buenas notas, pero no las saco. Why did we do in the regular present tense? Well, it says right down here. There's no subjunctive because pensar is not a trigger verb that requires subjunctive in the second verb. Therefore, we're going to use the regular old present tense. Okay, so that's usage in a nutshell. We will be deepening our learning of usage and we'll be deepening our learning of formation as well in the next chapter. But for now, we're just going to focus on these usages. Okay, if you have any questions, please jot them down on the bottom of your paper and we will go over them tomorrow in class. Adios!